Land Rover's Discovery 3 HSC, which is the top of the range. It's got a 2.7 litre V6 diesel engine, which is a very smooth, quiet engine. I always thought the engine of my Peugeot 807 was quite a good engine, quite quiet. But getting back into that after driving this, and you realise just how rough it is, this is so quiet. In fact, the whole car is just so quiet. You just can't hear it. Can you hear it? I do get an amazing sense of calmness as I drive this car. I do feel it's a bit of sort of mobile therapy. It's just such a composed car. You feel you're just sauntering along in just a lovely fashion. It's like being in a lovely country house on wheels. It's amazing driving around London how many discoveries you see that just seem to be all over the place. It's a real status symbol. They are beautiful looking cars. But essentially, this car is all about going off-road. It's not about being a posy car driving around a city. So that's really where it started off. Land Rover made a car that could go off-road, and that is what gives it the most amazing on-road abilities as well, because of the off-road abilities of the wheels to go in different directions to cope with the terrain. Because of all that, the amazing suspension, you get this really super smooth, fantastic ride in town. While I have been off-roading in a Freelander, which was fantastic fun, we didn't actually think we'd ever get the chance to do anything like that in this car for this week. But as fortune have it snowed like Billy-O on the Monday we got it. So we were out there where all the other cars were skidding around looking foolish, and we just cruised. It was fantastic. We had a great sense of safety, confidence in the vehicle, and also a feeling as if you're in this sort of bubble away from the rest of the world. And now I understand that sort of rather snooty, smug look that people have when they drive these sort of cars, and I can understand why.
So let's look at the inside of the car in a little more detail. First thing you notice is the quality. It's beautiful. The quality of the leather, the plastics, the piano black finish. It is, as they say, premium. It's fantastic.
It does give you a sense of invincibility, which of course you mustn't take too far because nobody's invincible. And occasionally as I was driving through the snow, the ABS would kick in. I suddenly realised I was going just a bit too fast for that.
One of the nicest things is this cooler. You turn it on, take this out, and then you can put your sandwiches, your drinks, anything to keep cool on a hot day. I mean, I just love that.
So really, this sort of car driving around cities, even towns, I don't think we can really justify it, but if you lived in the country, this car would be fantastic for all year round, for the snow, for mud, for rain, for going down farm tracks. I can really see why then you'd need a car like this. So really in cities it's really a status symbol, but God, it's easy to get seduced by it, and I have loved driving around in it.
Lots of cubby holes, drinks holders, storage here, storage here.
It is a classic looking car, very simple, very elegant. It is quite boxy, none of these sort of quirky soft curves that the new cars have today, but it's so stylish. Even though this car is the same length as my Peugeot 807, which I zoom around in, park with no difficulty, parking this car I found an absolute nightmare, possibly because it's worth so much money and I don't want to do any damage to it. But it's got all the parking sensors, it's got all the help there that you need, but it's just a big vehicle. It's got a huge bonnet, and I suppose with my car, it's all at the back. Whereas with this, trying to park, you're not really quite sure where you're going. Took it to Brent Cross as a bit of an experiment, and my God, I was going round and round trying to find a space big enough. And luckily, because of the snow, there was a big pile of snow, and I managed to sort of get into a corner, taking up about a space and a half.
One thing I did find intimidating was the central console. If you just look at it with all the buttons, all the dials, you think, oh my God, where do you start? And in fact, if you just split it in two, you've got the radio and telephone at the top and the heating in the bottom, even though it looks really, really complicated.
But I think in all fairness to it, just like I've got used to my 807, which is a big vehicle, you would definitely get used to this, and I could, give it me for a few more weeks and I would get used to it. Okay, so having looked at all the wonderful things about this car, let's look at the not so wonderful things. This is a huge car. It weighs about 2.7 tonnes, which is about a tonne more than your average car. Fuel consumption, well, being a big thing, it's going to drink a lot of fuel, and it's about, well, they say the combined cycle 27.7 miles per gallon. And CO2 emissions are 270 grams per kilometre, so, it's putting out quite a lot of carbon dioxide. But considering it, you know, driving around a huge vehicle, then perhaps it's not that bad.
Moving around to the back, we've got lovely seating area, lots of space. We've got the DVD screens for the kids, plenty of leg room. And in fact, when you're sitting in the back, because you're slightly high, it's tiered, you do get a good view of the road. It is light and airy in here, and of course the colour of the seating helps, but we also have 3 sunroofs, one in the front, one in the middle and one at the rear.
So really, in these ecological times, I think you need to think very carefully about buying a car like this. And I think if you do need it for being in the country, then I think you're quite justified. Just being a sort of showstopper head turner, oh, I don't know.
Moving around to the back of the car, we've got a split tailgate like this. So it makes it easy just to drop your shopping in without having to open the whole of the boot. But of course you can press this and do that. And slide in whatever you want to get in the back. Of course, we have got these 2 seats up at the moment. They do obviously fold down, which would create a much bigger boot space.
So this car comes in at just over 45,000 on the road. The cheapest one comes in at just under 30,000, and that's just a bit more basic. And I wonder, for 15,000, perhaps it's better to go for the more basic one, and it won't depreciate quite as noticeably.
The 7 seats are for occasional use, so it is a bit of a palaver getting your seats up and down, but I will show you how it all works. First, you fold it down like this, and you grab this and pull it up. Once you've done that, you climb into the back like this, and there is plenty of room, not only for children but also for adults. Plenty of leg room, and again you're raised, so you get a fantastic view of the road. In fact, even better than the middle seats, I think. These back seats fold away really quickly and neatly. I'll just very quickly show you how it does that. Like this, and then like that. So of course this seat folds down in the same way, and you can also fold down the middle seats, or they go forward, so creating a huge boot space. So we've now folded down the 3rd row seat, so leaving us with the 5-seater standard car with a huge boot. And as useful as the tailgate is, when you put it down, you do find it quite difficult to reach right at the back of the boot. And I know Kate had a problem, being a bit shorter than I am, but even I am struggling as well.
So really, what sort of person would buy this car? We're really talking about somebody who's got quite a lot of money, I don't know, company chairman, that sort of person. And what other cars would they look at? She might look at a Jaguar, BMW, but they wouldn't really offer everything this car offers. So I think really this, to my mind, wins hands down with all its capabilities. I suppose you could also go for the Range Rover, but somehow I feel this is just a little less in your face, and just a bit more stylish, I think, somehow.